Shalom. Assalam, Latif, Al Sufyan, Mui. We open in the name of the Al Fatiha according to the Al Sufyan. We are the people of the Al Sufyan. We pray all spirits find peace. Love divine to you all Wadu. This message today from our messenger, because our creator who loves all his creation need us to know some things that we have heard and some ideas that we have accepted is not true. And so we don't want to be innocent bystanders caught up in the fire. When it was meant for someone else, you was an innocent bystander caught by friendly fire. So we got to bring the message straight and pure.
That's right.
Without corruption. The cornerstone of all that we need to know is the cornerstone of truth. The cornerstone of truth is what we believe in. Our initial belief, that word for us in our Asiatic meaning means to believe in truth. And so now we have been alerted, warned about the many false prophets that have spread it out amongst us on the land. Spreading their doctrines. And we was given a lesson from the 101s that there was a certain group of people that was kicked out of the holy city. Because of these teachings. And those who accepted these teachings was kicked out with them. Sound familiar? The story of Michael, and they say the dragon. These texts that we have today are based in a historical context, in actuality, and then in potentiality, it has been mythologized, made into a movie where it's no longer based on a true event. So that's what we have to take these understandings of from these false religions. Most of us don't even know such a thing exists. There is such a thing called false religions. So we have to take a breather and breath into the understanding that we don't know everything. So with us not knowing everything, we should be on the path of knowledge. On the path of knowledge, you will discover that false prophet has also made their false texts, and that their followers have made into false scriptures that have been published worldwide. And as every military strategy has a target, we must know and understand that that target is our well-being. So we have two doors to walk through, and you can't walk through both of them at the same time. You got a door on the right and a door on the left. One is the belief in truth. The other is the belief in falsehoods. So we gotta bring this in for us. Okay, we're going to go into our theological and legal doctrine. And this is something that we're going to speak on in concerning in regards to texts that we have read and texts we have heard that is labeled under scriptures. We're going to start at number 10. Verily, some poetry is dressed in knowledge and art, yet contains neither wisdom nor beauty, but bitterness and hate. See, so when we come across texts that are claiming themselves to be scriptures, this is how we go inside of those scriptures and begin to dissect and investigate. If scriptures are naming themselves holy, and inside of these holy scriptures, you find an overwhelming of bitterness and hate, then you know that's not from your creator that loves all creation. This is very key that we need to key in, because we've been told to love this bitterness and hate. We've been told to accept this bitterness and hate, not to reject, but to keep moving on about our business. See, and this was part of the false text to get us to move a certain way. And so now we're finna learn who inserted all this bitterness and hate in these texts. 13, this be the sign of the Persians. This is a key to know about false religions. These false religions contain in their text bitterness and hate. When you find bitterness and hate that effectuates your heart, this be the sign that this text was tampered with, and this is not the original understanding. And who did this is the Persians and the merchants who craft words. Look at what they merchandising. Who craft words like paint over rust. Ooh-wee. That's bitterness and hate. So now, if these people have crafted words inside of these scriptures, how are we to know number 14?
On 13, I have a question. Who will be those Persians that you talking about today, and the ancestors? Who will be the people called the Persian? Could they be identified?
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are. And the text would tell it too. And also, these are the givers of the text that we call the Bible and the Quran.
That's the people.
These are the people. That's why you will find inside of the Bible and inside of the Quran bitterness and hate. See, but it's not all over, because remember, they crafting. So they master craftsmen. We went over this.
Yeah.
And so they craft words. So now they craft words to make us have a different perspective. See, but it's for a reason, and this is what 14 is going to tell us. Sweetly and innocently, they sing to those who refuse. So this is why the words are put in these false texts. For those who refuse to use the gifts given to them. And here's the main one we want to come in on. The main gift given to us by our beloved, beautiful, divine creator. The beautiful gift of discernment. Discernment. So the Creator bestowed upon us a luxurious gift of discernment to be able to discern the difference between these words that contain bitterness and hate, and then words that's containing all wisdom and beauty. Beauty and hate contrasts.
Yeah.
So if we have discernment, that means we can discern that there's a difference between hate. That these Persians accept hate as love. They accept hate as love. Look how they're crafting words here. So if you begin to hate them, that exactly fed into what they wanted to feed you with. Because they accept that hate as love. So telling how much you hate something or how much you dislike is a form of adrenaline for them, in other words, so to speak. They get a high. So we have to understand why, in conclusion, have these false texts been made. That they rejoice as poetry, words of destruction, as creation.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So they've been able to spread their evil through these texts, representing destruction as creation.
Yeah.
The true understanding give us the place to love the world.
That's right.
We're finna jump in it. The false texts tell us to hate the world. Uh-oh. Which one feels like beautiful and which one feels like hate? How are we gonna get somewhere in life in a beautiful place we birth?
Yeah.
And it says to hate the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are the words that was crafted like paint over rust. But the only thing that's gonna save us is not the preacher. The only thing gonna save us is the gifts given unto his children. The children. Includes the parents. All is given the gifts of discernment. So this means we on a different type of level. This don't have nothing to do with the physical. It is with something above the physical. Say from above I descend. Holy and pure, gentle and peaceful. See, we're talking about words of beauty, wisdom, how you came down, gentle. You didn't come down to hate the world. This is one of the major things that we learn, that they tell us our beloved brother said to hate the world, for they hated me. See, so these are clumsy texts, but if we lack discernment, they become profound.
Yeah.
If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world would love its own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. Look at this poetry right here, y'all. This is what we're saying. This is what have captivated the people. And we come to the man now. So this is very key. So that's in John chapter 15. In the original, in the true Holy Scripture, we're going to show that we are told to love, to make the world a better place. So with these two in confliction, now there's something called discernment. That we now have to understand that only discernment is going to lead us to the narrow and straight gate. To follow the true path of Absalom is the simplest of all to describe. To live a life of self-respect and virtue.
Yeah.
To treat others as you expect yourself to be treated. And to love this world.
That's where I stand.
See, which one gives you the feeling of love and beauty?
Yes, indeed.
The expression of wisdom. And to seek to make it a better place.
Better place.
Any person that does this first truly loves all Sufyan and has no need of complication.
Beautiful.
Now that's a big marker.
Big marker. Big marker.
Those words are different than the words that's in the book of John.
Yep.
So now we about to go into words. We're finna go into such a truth that it is not what the ear may wish to hear. Due to these false texts coming into our understanding, and then our belief have swarmed these texts, and now we have given life by worshiping our own belief. So we got to understand that it may be stiff and unappealing, but this is what the truth is, and this is what the ear may not wish to hear. Do you believe your God dies? First question. First question. Do you believe God died? This is the discernment. See, we've been painting a portrait of something that we do not understand. But it was forced for us to believe that we should understand for the sake of our salvation. We got to ask ourselves, do you believe God died? False religions are attacking, and you are under attack. You are under attack to believe a false transfiguration. These are the gifts that are given unto you called discernment. Can your God be hung and nailed to a cross? Look at all the images that they have afforded you for you to have a mass consumption in an overwhelming acceptance of this falsehood. So now we're going to cover this familiar word called transgression. It says when you don't love the Creator, you transgress. For sin meaning the transgression of the law. You was told that you should believe that the law is dead. That no longer is the universe held by law, but now everything in your belief is held up by the salvation and the grace. Because you believe that you have been born into sin. Now we're talking beliefs now. You ain't seen none of this happen to yourself. We're talking about something above the physical. That they overlording over your soul. As a cloud, hanging a cloud over your head. And want you to thoroughly digest through swallowing the falsehood. So let's get into some transgressional rules from the divine Creator, from the living law, not man-made religions. We insert on record 29. Truly, one of the most gravest of transgressions is to mock the dead. Now, I just gave us a comparative question. Do you believe God died? If you believe God died, you would be committing a transgression. And this is what we all do not want to do. But those who craft words like paint over rust, they don't mind. They accept hate as love. So you mocking your creator saying this happened, saying that happened. See what the demon and the devil, how they dance. This has nothing to do on the physical plane we're speaking on. This is somewhere above, but you don't know what's happening. So, like with beacon of light, that is belief. So this answers our question and shows you how that's pure sinful, purely sinister is any portraying of such an act. For even it to be advertised, broadcast, spread it, that is bitterness and hate that they want you to accept as love, forcing it down. Remember, there's a history that goes with all of this that we're speaking of, calling Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't an olive branch history attached to Christianity. There's wars. And now we're getting a clearer picture. Now the question is for you and I. In hindsight, will you be sacrificed by the evils of false religions? This is the choice that we all will have to make on our individual own approach. So let's continue. Verily, one who would harm even a hair upon the head of a little one is guilty of a terrible transgression against all Sufyan. So in their false text, they have settings where sacrificial offerings are allowed and blood is shed for the sake of an altar. Blood means harm.
Mm-hmm.
So why is all this sacrifice worship in the Bible? Someone will be getting sacrificed. As you see in the line of public notoriety, in the public view, there's nothing but sacrificial lambs in the public. It's all plastered online. This person a sacrifice. This person being sacrificed for this person. And you sitting without discernment, not using the gifts given unto you. People at a time now do not know what they worship. And it's due to these false texts which have convoluted and mixed truth with falsehood. And so now your belief that you believe in has been tampered with. And your belief is no longer pure because it has these associations with it, which now mixes it by compounding it. So this is why we ask it. This is a question to all. Because if you believe God died, then that means you must believe that God will die for your sins. I wonder was that heard clearly.
Oh. Loud and clear. There's a great transgression going on.
It's a great transgression going on. It's a dark cloud hanging overlording the soul. We all got to meet death. And how you meet death depends on how you live life.
That's right.
Did you worship ignorance when you was bestowed the gifts of wisdom and discernment? Or did you just let others tell you what to do? Because you was told. I don't know, I was told so. Is why I did it. See, we was given gifts called discernment. And this lies in the heart. So one's heart must be filled with impurities, filled with falsehood, where it lacks truth in self. It is not a sixth or a tenth of a man's devotion, which is acceptable to the all Sufyan. We're talking about these tithings. We're talking about these tithings every week, every month. What are you tithing for? Is it for the transgressions? Or it's because you love the Creator? Why is it a schedule? Are you covering your transgressions? Or are you really putting the penny into the mire? Because this is all you know and this is all you believe. But we find out tithing is not what is acceptable to the all Sufyan, but only such portions thereof as he or she offers with understanding. See, why are you paying tithes? If you don't understand why then you don't know. And that's not called acceptable. You have a knowing creator who gifted you the knowing ability. And if you respect that, then honor is how you move. But if you don't respect that, then dishonor is how you chose. See, and that's where a true devotional spirit is the best offering. Now check this. Who think they are completing transgressions off the transgression list. Say I'm saved. Say I'm delivered. All that say they saved ain't saved. All that say they have been delivered maybe to the wrong address.
Oh my goodness.
Verily, even if a man or woman has performed these deeds, right? Performed many prayers, performed many fasts, performed charity, performed pilgrimage, traveled all across the world, and you did even other philanthropic works, good works. You will not be rewarded except by the proportion of your own understanding. That tithing money ain't going nowhere except to let you decide. Because if we don't know why, then it becomes in vain. Vanity is a substance that lacks no reason. So if you believe God died, you believe that God will die for your sins. A couple questions. Before you was allowed to claim the religion that you under, what was the requirements before you was accepted? Was you required to study the religion before you joined it? Or did they just all in just accept you? No background check, no honesty check, no character.
Come right on, come as you are.
Come as you are.
That's what the scripture
says.
Don't need a background check. Because we supposed to be sinners coming to get right. I have a question.
Love.
On discernment and destruction and creation. And I'm deeply discerned about how we have all these religions as we speak was before us right today. having all the discernment, why are we aligned the ones who lead in destruction? And I don't have to call no name. Just just look up to the hill. It's called capital, where everything is being run out. And we should be discerned because all we see is from them is war, false teaching, everything of destruction is what we see. And we should be discerned as a people and not go along with it like just like what you're saying, where you stand at. And I'm not for all that. And I ain't gonna be partakers of all that. And like that story I told you about the falling out of the church, it was about the tithe. Same thing you was teaching about. I never experienced it. And I know others gonna probably experience it, or they already experienced what you're talking about. But anyway, I hear the floor.
Mm-hmm. Did any church tell any of their members before you join or join, you got to read the entire Bible? So how would you know if you are a part of a false religion? See, you would not have any qualifications nor criteria to judge based on, are you involved in a false religion? You have no historical context to the situation that you chose to put yourself in. These things are all available for you to read, but instead of reading it, you rather go join an organization. So this is why it's important, because you need to know where false believers end up at. There is a recompense to your choice. There is an effect to your cause. There is a destination from your choice. See, the liars who design these false texts need you to be without understanding and worship without understanding what even belief is. Remember, belief is to believe in truth. So to pick up a book now and to never read it, but to enjoy hearing it, is not even logical. So this is why people have now been led to the crucifixion. Anyone who have read that entire book from beginning to end will have questions. They couldn't join something without asking these questions. So people needs to belong to something in order to feel like somebody. Because on your own, you can't pick up the book. On your own, you can't read the book. But on your own, you can go join. And what you know is what you know not. that what you joining unto. You are fastening yourself to the pale horse. You are fastening yourself to wickedness. You are testing that I am a blasphemer. You are attesting that you are a disbeliever. These books is your testament. We have to understand that if this is not your choice, then you still have the choice. Because it's a large matter at hand. So if you have not even read the entire, let's just say, Bible, for instance, then you would not know that God did not die. If you read the entire Bible, you would be able to think that the devil did not die in the Bible.
Think on that.
And that what you joining and professing is that God died. And the devils live. That you serve the God of the dead and not the God of the living. These are Persian constructions. The Mithraeans and the Christians say, our souls travel down from heaven into our body at birth, and upon death we shall be judged. And if we fail, we shall be subject to torment in an underworld to atone for our transgressions. This is what the Christians say.
Underworld.
See what we're talking about? You confessing this on your own soul. You creating your own torment. Because discernment should have led you out. Once you read that God died, you out.
You out of here.
There's no more to know that you need to join. In this book, God died and is put on a cross and humiliated. This is what the Christians say. And the believers who believe in it say that this is the truth. That God will die, that God will die for their sins. Do we hear the buffoonery in such a statement that only demons will make?
Here to somebody else sin.
Thus, all Sufism does not judge us or act against us due to our transgressions. So tell me, what is all of this for? If the divine creator do not judge you or act against you due to your own transgressions, why are you doing anything that you're doing concerning religious exercises? This is what's called servants of demons. These false texts have accumulated truth and falsehood and breeded them together and created this hybrid of disbelievers that what they believe in, they believe that is true and is yet even proven. They still waiting for the comeback or the second coming. It hasn't been proven yet. And the disbelievers will say that it's true. How could it be true if it's not yet proven? So this is where these cunning groups that worship lesser gods, spirits, and demons begin proliferating texts at an abundant rate to confuse your mind to control it. So now you know the truth with transgression, that the divine creator will never act against you due to your transgression. But the divine creator is forgiving and looks to the best within each of us. You don't need no middleman. You don't need no middleman. Then we just clearly get this divine instruction. So this is why we got to understand on the opposite side of the coin, the enemy of hate needs you to hate your own self. So his trick for you to hate your own self was to now give you these texts, knowing that you would never read it. So individually, you will be responsible. Individually, you will be held accountable, not to the group, not to the collective, but as an individual, you will have to meet the day of judgment. And your day of judgment could be a scapegoat for another. The creator ain't acting against you due to your transgression. So who is? The creator is not hard on you due to your transgressions. So who is tormenting you? See, this is why we got to go to these beliefs. This thing that's above the physical, hanging like a cloud. And if you do nothing about it, it get darker and darker. Due to these false texts. But once you out of it, it's all love. And this is how you get the truth that makes you free. It's something about lies they did not want us to understand. Lies is something they did not want us to understand. Now, the book cannot speak. So the book never did nothing wrong. It's the people who believe in the book. See how it goes? The book will sit on the shelf. But your beliefs from the book will be carried. And as a carrier of bad news, we must say that this is the act that you perceive as transgressions. This notion of absolute good and evil is a figment of the Persian mind. See, the greatest liar wrote the greatest lie ever told. And today, most people believe in the greatest lie ever told over the truth of themselves. May claim to be free from transgression. Catch this now. No man may claim to be free from transgression. For he who sins not cast the first stone. Remember that? Bring it back to your remembrance. Update. No man may claim to be free from transgression. Now, what are we saying? This is key to understanding your own self. If no other person claims to be free from transgression, do they have the right and authority to be telling you what and what not to do? There's no reason to fear no one outside of you because no one is free from transgression. This is about how in tune you are with your creator and that creator being forgiven because you forgive. So now when we're talking about this is equality at its highest. This is divine right of protection at its highest. Given unto us is the ability to learn, to reason, and to choose by free will. See, there's no question now when you understand transgression clearly that there is free will. There is free will. It is because of these gifts that the injury of transgression exists. Because we are supposed to be having these abilities. We call them superpowers. And now you just enjoying them on movies. You watching fake characters, mythologicals, play out the powers of your own soul. You caught up in drama scenes and other people characters, models of transgressions that never comply directly with divine law, neither natural law. We're talking on a divine understanding. This is past the 25 levels of consciousness. This is understanding the full totality of your whole being. Just cranking on up. "43. Thus, the greatest sin above all others in Islam is to kill in the name of all Sufyan." This is what exactly the opposite of what happened in the crucifixion. The crucifixion, exactly this, the greatest sin portrayed in front of us for us to vividly feel that it's okay to be killed. By the opinions of others. For we stone you, for you make yourself out to be from the Creator. They say, hey, ye are from the Creator. Hey, we gonna stone you because you say you from the Creator. Public opinion. Does that give a right for one in their heart to strike, to kill, to murder an innocent man with family, wife, children, generations of ancestors? Because they understand the truth. And in that time, they was forcing lies. Like today, you believe in them. Today, you believe in the lies that was fought about, was understood to not ever to be accepted and always rejected. Today, you fall under worship of these ideologies. They call idols now. They call false concepts now. So this is what increases the sinner. The sinner sins, repent, and then repeat. This is why we have to understand. Can't no one claim to be free from transgression. So, in our way, this is offensive. So we have to understand this is not making the world a better place. 44. Thus, the greatest sin in Absalom is for a man to place himself as a god above others. I hope the truth is making you free. This is the greatest sin in Absalom. for a man to place himself as a God above others. No prophet is respected as God, and let alone above all others, as they have hyped up the false image into as the Lord's name as Jesus Christ, placing a man as a God in between and above others. This is a sin, the greatest sin. So do we see the confusion that's happening in the crucifixion? This is the most blasphemous malediction, vandalizing of the whole entire understanding of all scriptures. Remember in the Bible now, God dies and the devil don't. This is the gift for reading the whole Bible. So this is how you know that that is a false text. So those who are liars in real life now believe in false texts. If we get it now, it's like a license to lie. If someone swear in on a book of lies, that means they agree to be a liar. So you have the book of liars and you got the book of lies. Which one would you be written down into? Here goes some more character rules for transgressional behavior. It is a grave transgression against all Sufyan and Absalom to destroy religious sites, to destroy holy books, to destroy knowledge of any community. And ask, has Christianity been a part of any of this? Ask the Persians of Islam, have they been a part of any of this? So ask the Bible and the Quran believers, is not slavery allowed in their books?
Yep, I read it.
These are grave transgressions that you no longer have to concede to if you are victimized. But if you are the victimizer, then you know you are breaking all divine law, and what happens to you happens. Divine law and natural law speaks for itself. (47) It is a grave transgression against Absalom to act or accept kingship. Workers for hire, servants, president, all these things. These are forms of kingship that you are not to accept. you are not a part of any allegiance but to Al Sufyan alone. But remember, everybody,
It says that we are not part of any allegiance. When they school us over here, they have us pledging to allegiance in our school. In most in all island does, man. I mean, this system just rotten to the core.
is supported by the false text.
Yep,
So it cannot do nothing but support liars.
that's it.
And so each block is a block of lies.
Mm.
Logos, blocks of lies put together by these craftsmen. Remember, the divine creator is all truth. So how did lies become birth?
Excuse
See, rule by birthright is forbidden in Islam. And anyone who commits this crime is an imposter and not a true Musallam. It is a most grave transgression against Islam to give a martyr's funeral to one who deliberately caused the deaths of women and children by his actions. The greatest transgression above all others is to kill in the name of the Al Sufyan. Now, if we take historical accounts into our observation, Christianity say they was killing people in the name of God.
That's right.
Convert or die. Christianity or death. This is what sayings said. Sayings such as give me liberty or give me death comes from. Rejecting this false form of truth that's been terrorized through the powers of belief. All Sufyan will be reminded of the error of their actions in good time. You do not be so blasphemous as to assume the role of judge of apostates, as this is a position reserved only for Al Sufyan. A grave transgression it is to display such arrogance. It is a great transgression against the divine creator to defile the remains of the dead, causing such suffering of the spirit. What we talking about? The Last Supper. What you think happened after the crucifixion? You think dirty people didn't defile the remains and become eaters? We talking about murderers that don't love the soul but love the blood. Take his body, for it's the blood. for take his blood, for it's the bread. See how they play with it? The bread and the blood and the body and the wine. What you think these rituals is in there for? These people eat the dead. How you think they come more vicious, wanting to kill more human beings and do evil upon them so much that they will want to write out a thick book of lies? And say this is called religious exercise. This is what Christianity have done. They have harmed, touched a Christian temple or text, to destroy or damage a Christian shrine or text is one of the greatest transgressions against all Sufism. This is why the false religion of Christianity must submit. These books that's so-called hidden out of the Bible was omitted by the liars. They didn't want the truth in their book that will make you free. Instead, they wanted the unauthorized truth. The demon version of the truth into the Bible. So we never received the New Testament as in the sense of the Injil. What they gave us as the New Testament was not the Injil, but a transliteration what we got to remember. For the destruction of a Christian shrine or text is the destruction in part of greater Absalom. As all religions and all faiths are ultimately part of Absalom. See, it was never no separation into these many denominations. It was always one truth, one wisdom, and now these demons wanted to make their versions so they can be worshipped, pretending to be God. And they pulled it off. They got 5 books to trap you in. Remember, the shape of you is 5 points. So they have a book for every point to make sure that you boxed in. And so we have to know where to turn in. To use prayer to pray for the misfortune of others is a grave transgression against Absalom.
Goodness. Oh my goodness.
See, in their books, they never tell you clearly that your mind never dies. Instead, they confuse your mind to blacken out your mind so you can, what I stated earlier, do you know where false believers end up at? So opposite of your mind, if you're a false believer, is where you're going to end up at. Because our mind never dies, it moves on. But that's for the chosen, that's for the true believers. What we need to understand and know is that, as it is written in the Al Sufyan of Absalom, which is the same as it is in heaven. Sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Same as it is in heaven. See, they never gave you these books. They gave you those books. The one that's opposite of heaven. Then they mix a little spice, a little seasoning, them heaven seasonings in there.
Yummy.
Them heavenly herbs and spices. Put that on top of that evil and it get to smelling and simmering, making evil smell good. But we got to know evil ain't good until the want of good is evil. So when we're talking about how do we understand that how we save ourselves is by our minds. See, and that's where belief lives. So this is why it's important to understand why they use something called believe, and you shall have everlasting life. But they put a middleman there and tell you to believe a little extra. You got so much belief, we need you to believe a little extra for us. You know, you get extra salt or extra seasoning. That's what they wanted from your belief, a little extra for them. You got so much of this for your creator. Can I get some of that for mine? For the demon I worship. So they had to concoct a witch's pot. And through the craft, they crafted a masonry pot. And from there, we have to understand in life, we're now watching a chess game of the trestle board play out. Black and white rephrase light and night. Which one are you? Which one to be? Which one is true? Which one is proof? This is what we have to understand. Because if you don't know what is truth, then beware those that wish to claim stories of naming of prophets that honor the merchant's view of history. See these books? That's what they do. They gear you to a narrative that honors the demon and his history. And now you will give all of your soul, heart, mind, and body full of spirit to the demon to serve and please a demon. But beware. 29. There is a different truth in the lines of messengers honored by the divine. How convenient then for some if the Persian view of history is turned into mine. See, and this is what happened between the brother and sister book, the Bible and the Quran. See, this is why these two books connect. These two books follow each other. These two books talk about the same people.
Yeah. Observe that.
See, this is why. The most wicked of transgression is false piety. Homage is first a secret relation between man and Al Sufyan. And second, an open relation before community. Give thanks to those who help, but never worship a man as a god. So when you come across these texts of crucifixions, eternal deaths, torment, hells, infernos, purgatories, any of these negativities. No, only ignorant men possess the power of demons, pray for the burning and torment of other souls. If people want you to feel that you was born in sin, if people want you to feel if you don't serve Jesus Christ, the Lord and Savior who died for all sins, that if you don't believe in him, that you're going to go to hell and burn eternally and be tormented, and they wish this upon you from their soul upon yours, you must know you have entered the service of demons. See, it's no holds bars. I hope y'all understand this. If the links of the demon have went this far to destroy the concept of your purity, of who you are as self, then what is the limits that you will go to protect and respect yourself after being discovered of the discovery to the nature of your truth? Their blasphemy against the divine creator and Absalom is a grave yard transgression. All this is against the divine creator. Did y'all even know monopoly? Monopoly is unlawful and a grave transgression in Absalom. So we talking about monopoly, y'all. Y'all know what monopoly is by the Parker brothers.
Yeah.
The little squares inside of a square.
Yeah.
On the rectangle. A game organized for bankers and buyers.
That's what I'm thinking.
Filled with dollars called monopoly dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And money is how you buy anything on this board.
Mm-hmm.
And you land on wrong things on this board, you gotta dig in your pocket and take some out of it and give it away to someone who made the rule. Now, if you want to live your life in this transgression of activities, thinking that you're doing something towards the creator, good exists by choice at every moment. So if that's your choice that you not, then that's the choice that you is. What we got to understand is we've been played largely. This is why God is on the back of the monopoly money. The fake money, the false God, the false prophet, everything is right there in your plain sight. Hopefully the equality of truth will set all equal. So now let's go to the most devastating part we know as apartheid. We know as forms of emancipation, 40 acres and a mule, the Bible Belt chain, Dixie and Mixie lines.
Yeah, Mason-Dixie line.
So when we're talking about plantations,
Constitution,
when we're talking about slave holders, when we're talking about how to make a slave, a master mason, all this is unlawful, forbidden, and never to be revived. Transgression act of violation. Number 4, let it be said It is the abomination before the divine creator for any man or woman to enslave another,
Right.
whether by bondage,
Look at that.
whether by obligation, whether by fear or death. This is an abomination before all Sufyan.
Mm-hmm.
Slavery in any form is the gravest of transgressions.
Does that not fit what they call the United States of America Constitution? Oh, and by the way, I've read that the George Washington and all them boys, and most all the presidents, they had just that. They had slaves. They had went against us. So that ought to tell us all right now where we stand with all of that. And all that is transgression. We should depart from it. I know you not. That's what Jesus said. I give it.
There you go, in black and white.
Black and white.
The slavery that the Bible permits, the slavery that the Quran allows,
Come on with it.
the transgressions from all these literary texts that allow slavery.
Yeah. Cool with it. Cool cat.
Now we see why these books exist. These books only exist to allow slavery in the name of religion.
That's correct. That's
False religion.
Mm-hmm.
All false religions encase slavery within their false doctrines. Doctrinally, slavery is accepted.
Yep. Obey your master.
To enslave another is against the Creator.
Look at that.
All Sufyan.
Enslave another.
As we have been told, that you was born a slave.
Yep.
As you was told by some. You
Sinners.
come from slaves.
Yeah.
Some say in their history, you were slaves.
Yep.
Now, is that words by the Creator, or is that man-made false religion?
Man-made false religion.
So we know now that the divine Creator never permitted, always prohibited any form of slavery. That it's necessary that all forms of slavery be abolished. This is the abomination. But the demons don't listen. Remember that. Demons don't listen. So this is why we must know and understand verily any man or woman who partakes in slavery, any woman or man, because the animals ain't doing it. No. The plants ain't doing it. The cow, the trees.
No, none of that.
All the Creator's creation ain't doing it. But it's something called spirits. People in these spirits. People worshiping these lesser gods, demons, spirits.
Yep.
And who excel at it the greatest is the Persians. Who you don't know now is your Americans. They probably right in front of you, finery, threads, palaces, They thwart it all in front of you, furl it in front of your face, imagery on TV, media, Medusa. See, they formed all this called syncretic or syncretism or syncretism. They created all this. That is a form of Gnosticism to polyculturate mind with polytheism. See, we have to understand the true understanding of culture. And then we won't have to mix and adulterate others' culture to make a message clear. Now, this is why a demon never listens. It is better a man lose his life in the eyes of the Creator than permit one of his family be sold into slavery.
Good, the whole family was getting sold back in there.
Look how bad it is. It tells you in the Bible, it's better to lose one to go into
whole body.
So we talk about slavery. It's better for a man to lose his life than permit one of his family be sold into slavery. Hold up, y'all. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on.
It's a big family sellout here.
Yeah.
Families selling out families. How's evil spread it when this is supposed to be inscribed in your heart? No book is supposed to be telling you this, but it's been so much evil that the Creator had to recreate